you're the host.
You leading the way, huh?
Oh, I'm a conversate with you.
Say less then. Okay, bet. We'll act like the camera's just coming on. What's up, everybody? It's your guy Rob Jack, Detroit's next billionaire, and I'm sitting down here to have a conversation with the family about legacy. Now, legacy is something that a lot of people talk about. Everybody talks about generational wealth building, but they never actually take the next step and actually sitting down having a conversation with the family and seeing if a plan can be established to help actually reach the said goals that the family wishes to instill and pass down. So today I've literally got my brother, my sister, his twins, and my mom and my dad here, which I say are some of the more key players right now that are needed to get the initial thing started. The reason why I acknowledge who was here at the moment is because when you first start off, you probably don't want everybody there. You kind of want to see where everybody's head is. And so you want to do it in groups, right? So you want to do it in areas where you eliminate confrontation, but you can still put the elephant out there and expose the different things that could get in the way to cause friction and ultimately stop the family from reaching the goal of creating generational wealth or building a legacy that they can pass down to the children. So over here to the left, we got Yeshua Selly, we've got Alicia, we've got Ayani, we've got myself, Rob Jack, we've got Lil Yesh right here, we got my mama Sparkle, Janice, we got my pops, my dad, Robert Jackson as well too, and then of course your boy DMB Rob Jack. All right, so let's get this thing rolling.
First of all, really great intro.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
I've seen a few podcasts, you know, so yeah.
So will we call ourselves the Jacksons? Oh, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 Jacks.
That's all I needed to see. 7
7 Jacks.
Damn.
I came up with that years ago.
Yep.
Okay, I had to make sure your mic was on.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go back and forth with you. There we go. Yeah.
You got a mic? Okay.
So there's a couple things that, of course, we should kind of dabble into when it comes down to legacy and estate building. One, of course, is identity. You know, you got to know what you're passing down. You know, we all know there's something special, or at least that we've been set aside, you know, for us to achieve something that only we've been set down here on earth to achieve. And by recognizing our purpose and our heritage and who we are, I feel like that's one of the main things that will help inspire us to build a legacy that's going to stick with the culture that we're trying to pass down.
There we go.
All right, we got twins, so we got reasons to build.
Yeah, we got 4 kids in this. What's his name? This Stallone.
Yeah.
6. My bad.
Hi.
6
Hi.
kids in this generation.
6.
Hi.
5.
Emery, Alicia.
Emery, Alicia, these two make 4, and Jubilees make 5, and then the baby to come
Okay.
makes 6.
So 6.
Hi.
Dang.
Yeah.
Y'all people. Y'all.
So let me ask this: what are we passing down?
Well, for starters, we passing down our name.
Okay.
Jackson. Yahweh came to me and he said Jackson means son of Jacob. So we passing down the heritage of the sons of Jacob. Jackson. That's our faith that we was passed down as well.
Okay, but why is it important to pass down the name? What's you know?
It gives us a sense of understanding of who we are and what our responsibilities are. You know,
Okay.
to be able to put things into this world, because we all are craftsmen, you know, by in some way, shape, or form, to be able to put what God has blessed us with into this world. That's our responsibility.
I would say to you, so what is it that you want to leave? What was your thought that you wanted to leave for your children? What was your desire?
What is my desire that I want to leave?
Yeah, what's your legacy that you want to leave?
That's the proper way.
Well,
Because they won't know a legacy if they can't tell you. They know what they want their children to have. What was your legacy that you wanted for your children?
that's an excellent question.
You can even go back
Thank
to some
you.
of
Because
those earlier conversations that y'all had.
Well, yeah.
Okay, well, I wanted to leave an impact in the world as far as who I was, who am I guess is what we say, and I want to pass that down. Who I am. Who I am is I am a man of God, that entrepreneur, a husband, a son. I am a businessman.
If I may interrupt, if you don't mind.
And then I'm gonna interrupt next.
You can, sure.
When we were married and first started, we started having children anyway, from the beginning. He used to always say he wanted to have a home for every one of the children. We didn't know we were going to have 7 children. That's where the 7 Jacks originated from for me. When we had the 7 children and we were in Atlanta, I said, God give me this name. He gave me 7 Jacks because of the children. But your dad used to always say he wanted to have a property for each one of the children to live in. And he said, and that would be their property to do what they wanted to do. They can live in it. You can live in it, or you can sell it, or, do whatever you wanted to do with it to create. And with that, I always thought, that's a great idea, because land is wealth, So if you were not able to leave a financial wealth, money-wise, you leaving land. You live in land. So land is always going to be something good. It depends on what they want to do with, what each child would want to do with it.
Freedom to do what they want.
Yeah, so they can live in it. They can sell it to go and get more, but it's something of always wanted to leave something for the children, to have something for them to build upon. That's what he wanted. That's what he used to tell me.
Well. Actually, what I wanted to do was I actually wanted to do that. Purchase a home for each of the children,
Yeah.
and not leave it, because I wasn't planning on passing away or anything that soon. But I was going to give it to him, gift it to him.
Oh, he said while he's alive.
Yeah, that's what he wanted.
when I was
That's
alive.
what it was when we were living. We wanted y'all to have that.
To give it to him after schooling, or after they got married or whatever. Then I was gonna gift it, and it would be something that would be a hand up, something to help
That's Christian.
whoever help
Hey,
you in your
Christian.
because you could always
Hey.
pull equity out of it. You could refinance it or whatever, and get the money to help
Cool.
you live your life.
It gives you sovereignty.
It gives you a lot of it gives you a lot of things, because
Like in the sense of like
Oh, that's cool.
that thing you always talk about, not
Yes.
being compromised.
Yeah.
It gives you
Yeah.
that ability
That's
to
good.
be
We got
free, in a sense.
it gives you a sense of freedom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's something that I realized
I don't know.
at a younger age. That
Yeah.
it was something that would be helpful to
We
to
got
people.
we got
Period. Young people growing up.
the we have Robert over
We're
here.
doing a podcast right now.
Yeah, yeah.
We doing a podcast right now. You on here
If
now?
you're gonna be on it, you're gonna be on it.
Yeah,
And you should just video call.
you on the podcast. I need the video call because it's not gonna show up on the video.
Well, I
thing.
mean, we can see her and
Yeah.
laugh at her.
Oh, we could laugh
Wait,
at her.
who
That's
else
true.
is it?
Hi, sister.
Hey, everybody on the podcast. What's up?
Lil Yeshua said, "What's up?" Lil Yanni said, "What's up?"
Oh, my babies. Hi. They're
That's
so
what I'm
cute.
saying. You should just call somebody on video chat, but I think my phone is dead or something. So you should call her
Hi,
on video.
babies. Okay, y'all have fun.
Alrighty. I'm glad y'all have
Alright.
fun. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, love you.
Love you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye, bye, everybody.
Bye. Teacher.
Hey, yeah, and then too, like even with the house thing of our little trials thing.
Yeah.
Christian's about to come back up too.
Yeah, but she's gonna be in Lansing.
I know
She's
she's-
gonna.
But
Be a Lansing?
Yeah,
when
she's
she
gonna
not
be
at
in.
work, she gonna want to.
Yeah, she's gonna. Yeah.
So, I wanted to throw this in because we was talking about the legacy, like what you want to leave legacy and stuff like that for. I think legacy consists of two parts, if I can actually say. There's the physical aspect of it for sure, where it's like, okay, I'm leaving you a head start on life, or I'm leaving you an advantage to start with, of that such. But I think the other part gets overlooked a lot, and it just never gets materialized. And that other part is the things like the resilience, the ability to stay together, the commitment, the dedication, them type of things. They're just the wisdom and stuff that you have for us.
Even y'all like work.
Yeah,
Y'all carpentry.
yeah, like what we do
that
for a
kind of
living.
stuff. Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
like you say, you wanted to give us a house when it was either marriage or graduation. But when you really think about what a house is, it's something that's a shelter. And what's better than a brick and mortar shelter is informational shelter, skills shelter. You know, those things are way better. So
Yeah.
I think if we said, okay, let's focus on a legacy, I think that legacy needs to start in books.
Yeah.
I think it needs to start in things that we can literally hand down to
Yeah.
bro. And when he turns 16, 17, he can
He'll
take the
know what to
information
do.
from his grandfather, his uncles, his dad, his aunts, and he'll say, okay, I have options.
Just like making content.
Yep. And then on top of that, what it also does is it'll bring the value to let them know that you all have value, or that us that came before them have value, and it'll keep the respect.
Right.
Because it's like, okay, I don't have to go off of what you got. I can go off of what you gave.
Yeah.
And you gave me something I can stand on. So you might have not gave me a house when I graduated, but because of what you did give me, I can build a house. I
Right.
can repair a house. I can
Right.
make a house a home, which is totally different. You
Yes.
know?
Yes.
And just even the moral, even being able
Yeah.
to sit here and even think like that, like
Right.
those things I think needs to be handed down to my
Yes.
son more so than okay, look, your granddad left your house. Because in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and even in the book, the book Richest Man in Babylon, the dad gave the son a pile of money or a bag of money, and he gave him basically a bag of books or scrolls with information that he accumulated over time on how to
Yes.
accumulate riches and stuff. So the son used up all the money and ended up in a much lower spot than what he was. He was the son of the richest man that ever lived. And yet, and still, he ended up a beggar, a server. And so he ended up before a king one time, and the king said, well, what do you have, in so many words? And he said, well, I don't have any money, but I got these scrolls that my father gave me. And in these scrolls is all the information that I need to make wise decisions and take this kingdom into a whole nother level of financial stability.
Yeah.
And they went through those scrolls, and he started implementing those lessons into his daily life, and he became the richest man in Babylon.
Yeah.
So I think we don't want to overlook those things, because obviously conditioning of the world is house, car, money,
Right.
clothes, you know, all that kind of stuff. But it's more so about what does it take to get them, like what puts us in position. And I'm that we have an edge over them, and I think that edge is that resilience, the information, the resourcefulness. So I think that should be the legacy first put down, because that legacy will help us clarify what we already know and organize what we already know. So then once it's organized, it's why aren't we doing this?
And that's the thing that takes something from nothing to something.
Yeah.
Would you call that? Would you call that? Would you call that skill, or
Experience. But it's a skill. It's a level of skill in there.
is it skill? Is it skill or not tactfulness, but
So if you're thinking along top, what are you
I
thinking like
I want to use like
strategy?
strategies. Yeah,
You could definitely consider it that.
more or less like strategies.
Because it's not just
Skills.
off of the skills that we can physically do. It's off of the way that we can think to be
Yeah,
able
to
to
think
orchestrate
and
things
to
to make
know.
things happen.
And if they had a strategy to get to wherever they wanted to go in life, that was just a cut strategy. Like, okay, look, if you want this, you need to understand the basics of discipline.
Right.
The main thing that you wanted to instill in us was that first scroll or that first anything. It could literally just be a paragraph, or it could be a video of you talking about discipline and experiences that you have related to discipline and
Like what I
stuff.
was saying, make TikToks for your grandkids. Just telling them little things that they can come back to when they like 12, 14, 15, 32, 57.
Yeah, that's real good. I like that.
When you
And see it from you, yeah.
Yeah.
and that's an opportunity nobody's ever had in the face of the world to see
Yeah.
their grandparents younger than what they've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
really good.
Talking,
That's real good because I mean that's how like
the new writing,
if I had that of my grandmother,
right?
I would have her recipes now. I used to, and the thing about it is because see, when we're young and in that age, they may not appreciate the things
Right.
while they're doing it. My
Right.
grandmother's, I do not have one of my grandmother's recipes. My auntie, cousin Ethel died, and no, she made the best 7-Up pound cakes. None of us have those recipes.
And you know something interesting like is going on because like I've been trying to get a hold of like my older great uncles and stuff of that nature, and they not valuing the information that they can give. But I'm begging them. I'm telling them like, yo, I really need this information.
Yeah.
Like whether you even just had a little bit of experience in it, whether it was
because
good or bad.
we done messed up our, and me too, we done messed up our self-esteem basing it on what we could obtain and keep. And so we don't realize the things that we have that are intangible that make us more valuable because like you told me the other day, I was more valuable than a lot of other people because I could do certain things. And that was cool because if you packing your value up and how much money you make, what if you have a bad week? So
The market
Well, I
crash.
think that
But
comes
the
from.
thing is, one of the things about value, people don't value anything until they have a need
Right.
for it. So so in other words, I wouldn't value my great grandmama's medicine recipe
until you had-
because I didn't have a need at that time. I was a child that was being taken care of. So for her to sit down and tell me, "Hey, you gonna want this one day,"
It
at
wouldn't have
that
meant
time
anything.
I didn't want it.
Right.
that's
You know,
why I
at that
gotta
time
be
because I didn't
recorded.
need it.
Mm-hmm.
But then when later on in life,
Yeah.
as I got older, and I was sitting around thinking, what can I do to make some money, to earn some more money, some extra money? Then it came across my mind. Ooh, she had a recipe, But until the time of need, we
Yeah.
trample over things
That
that's value. Yeah.
But even that though needs to be one of the things passed down in legacy.
Yeah.
Making it very clear: do not throw away wisdom or
Oh, yeah.
But see,
Learn how to-
and
That's a
but
scroll right there.
one
'Cause
thing
that-
that's so
yeah.
bad, though, I'm gonna tell you things that's bad about it. Why it doesn't get thrown out because the people who have it, they, for some reason in their mind, and I'm just gonna say for some reason in their mind, some people, and I don't know if this come back from slavery and stuff like that, hold on to their stuff, hide it. Nobody knows I'm not saying that this is where I got this, you know, and it follows down. It has flowed down all the way down to where people don't even like to tell you as much as where they bought their clothes, where they bought this at, because that's what they only. I only want this. I want them to have this. I don't want them to have that. So the mindset has to be changed from people to know that, you know, it has to be more than what you're giving. And you have to love everybody. You got to forgive everybody so that you can let this stuff go, because a lot of it people don't want to give stuff. A lot of stuff is unforgiveness. They don't want to give, and what maybe they felt the person who have had it didn't, where they treated right. And mama said, hold on to this. Don't share this with nobody. But at a certain time and point in age, you need to share it down, because guess what? It's going to die with you. You know, so we have to get to that. People have to get to that point where they can realize, wash their minds of stuff so that they can give things away. Never, you don't want to go, like they say, Miles Monroe said, the graveyard is full of so many dreams. You know, because so many people left with it. And that can be, you know, legacies are gone with it.
Even sharing your dreams.
Yeah.
Just for someone else to.
Because of the way the world has gotten so, and we've gotten so where we don't want to share. You know, we don't want to share.
I'm saying to share your dreams. Like, if you weren't able to obtain them, then maybe someone else can pick up that baton
Exactly,
and run with it.
and
If it
do it.
aligns with their calling or what they need to do. As
Right.
Well. If you hide it and keep it, even though you didn't get it done, someone else could still too.
Say it a little louder so the people in the back of the church can hear it.
And it's really just not about how, like, if you failed, or you could have picked up something that they need in order to, maybe it wasn't you to finish it, complete it.
Yeah.
It was for you to start it. Exactly.
Yeah.
To start it, and then
Get it to wherever
it
was
needs to
supposed
be.
go.
Yeah.
In order for someone else to pick up and go,
That's
and
the
go
truth.
on beyond that.
But here's
Like presidents, they don't all do it in one time.
Right.
It's a build up of multiple.
That's
I think one of the things with, you know, that with us as a people, a race of people, is that we got a heritage and a history of the slavery, and along with that we had a mentality, and everybody, I believe everybody that is in the culture has some residue of that still on them, whether they believe it or not.
Yeah.
When we say things, but how do we get to the place? How do we get to the place of recognizing that what we're saying or what we're doing is that mindset, or does come from there? Because if we're gonna get rid of it, we got to recognize where it is. Recognizing where it is, you got to look into it as of why you say it and why you say it and why you think that way. And that's a big thing, you know, because like I said, we all have that mentality, whether we get taught it or not. We think, and one of the things that we do is we think that we don't want to let somebody else get ahead of where we are as people. You know, we don't want nobody to succeed. That's why people have a problem. That's why they don't pass things down.
Right.
Then we even take scriptures. Don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing.
Right.
So we hide and covet things so that people won't go further, won't
Next
outshine us.
generation is supposed to outshine you.
Yeah,
Thank
but
you.
see the thing
Thank
is
you.
though,
That is the truth.
it's almost like you don't cross that until you get to that place of understanding and recognizing that this is what it's supposed to be. But you have to tell that to the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Because
conversations
you've messed
like this that'll
what they've
change it.
done, like the people before us have messed like us up, you know, this generation, and then what you're trying to distribute to yours, it's not a fullness because it's like, don't say nothing, don't tell them nothing, you know.
It's
just
confusing.
it's bad. You want to tell, and then you say, don't tell them what you're gonna do, because unfortunately it's done like that. They do take. There are people who will go forward and do what you're doing, but you know what? We all can have a piece of the pie. That's why the minds need to be washed. The mindsets need to be washed, because if it's not washed, we keep that mindset, and it may lessen and lessen, but it's still there.
If you don't recognize you got an issue,
Yeah.
then you won't even say your mind got to be washed.
Yeah.
It's nothing like a person that's an alcoholic that don't think they're alcoholic.
Yeah.
First thing
So you
is
got to know.
you're in that.
To
You
know,
got
to say,
you got
hey,
to know
you
that
can't
hey, this
do
is a problem.
You
This is a
watch it,
problem.
you be careful.
We haven't been advancing because of this.
Right.
And this has been the same thing with the people before us
Going
and the
down.
people before us, and it'll be the people after us if we don't recognize and change the way we do things.
It's just like medical history. Like you want to know if your grandmother and grandfather had high blood pressure or diabetes, but they don't want to, you're right, like they don't want to say, oh, I had a problem with thinking self-esteem, you know, and stuff like that. When you don't know, they don't know that, then it trickles down to you. You think, oh, I'm doing okay because you did better than them, but really you still had a little bit there, and then it trickled on down to yours, and then you don't know what to do and to say, really, what to do for your own children.
Right.
You know, if just like his dad built a house, all of his children really should have built a bigger house. You know, and so if we would have built a house, and you guys should have built a house, and the next, and y'all children build a bigger, build a subdivisions. And,
Even if
know.
you just paid for it and didn't physically do it.
Right,
It should
exactly.
have
That's
been-
what I'm saying.
It should have been add-on.
Yeah, because
to
he
add
shouldn't
on.
have built the house like his dad built
Yeah,
the
not-
house.
not like
His
his
dad
dad, yeah.
physically built the house. We should have had a contractor building our home.
But that's what y'all still gonna do.
Yeah, but I'm
We
just
got-
saying,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
but
I
people,
give you a point.
but I'm
I'm
gonna
just
just
throwing
say,
it out there, too,
yeah,
that
but
they still doing
but
that.
when we were moving, when your dad and I, we were moving fast when we first got married, but we were told, y'all moving a little too fast. You know, we had his house, we had two houses, we had 2 houses, 2 trucks, and 2 cars, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, because we had the Jag, we had the Escort wagon, we had the bread truck. Y'all remember you remember the red truck? Then we had a pickup truck. You know, it was but it to other people. And then we lived in a 3,100 square foot home, and people, it wasn't enough for people that said, "Oh, that's good, y'all doing good," you know. It was more, slow down. Y'all moving too fast.
So I got a question there, since y'all here, and it's all hindsight. Were y'all moving too fast, or my question would be, were y'all moving too fast, or were y'all just unaware of what it took to maintain what y'all were obtaining?
I don't know. I'm going to tell you, I don't think we're moving too fast. I think what happened from the noise of what's
Yeah, I was gonna
everything
say,
going
so you
on,
gotta catch your
it
foot on the
it
gas.
kept you down. You know, well, you didn't do this. You know, you didn't move forward, moving
Okay,
fast.
so you got
enough.
discouraged more out of it.
Yeah, it was more discouragement.
And then what about on your end? Because you were doing most of the doing to obtain it, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
yes,
right?
he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, they saying y'all moving too fast, at least to your wife. Your wife is obviously gonna bring it back to you at some point and say this is what
Well,
saying.
they would sometimes they would
Say it to
say
you.
it to us
Okay.
as a people. I had been told that as a couple, but you know that didn't. You had to remember now. I'm in my early 20s. I never seen this happen before with nobody else.
Okay.
You know, so it's new.
Right.
It's not something that everybody's doing.
Right.
It's abnormal. Everything I was doing was abnormal.
Yeah.
To drive a car like I drove,
Yes.
I was driving a person's car that had been established for years
Yeah.
and it was old. I was living in a house
Yeah.
that people desired to be in,
Neighborhood.
but you had to work for years to get in that type of house. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was really beyond
Like a
my
40-year-old
time.
in your 20s.
Exactly.
Almost like I could say almost like Jubilee.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Jubilee. You know, Jubilee's they're in a careered person's house.
Yeah.
We don't get those houses until we
40s, 50s.
60s, almost 60s.
Yeah, in the black community. Yeah.
You know, those houses come, but you know, and so we were doing that then. You know, to have a house and a house, rental house and a house that we lived in. You know,
Yeah.
and then a car. You know, a car like that, you know, driving a car like that, and then other cars in the driveway, because it was all in the driveway, in the backyard.
Yeah, because our
In a house
neighbors,
like
she
that.
said, this is so funny. They said, when they seen our car, they said, hope they're not drug dealers, because we were young. That's what she thought. Yeah,
I'm sure that's what y'all look like.
that's what she thought, because she seen the car.
I can
You
just
know.
imagine just how.
'Cause they were
I'm
older
picturing
than
how
us.
Y'all looked young.
They were older
I was-
than
I-
us,
and I was-
and they
I
were in
was
their
very-
dream home.
I was
Right.
very
And we-
sharp too.
Yes.
I
So
wore
we
I wore
dressed.
gator shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I'm imagining it. Y'all was
And
y'all
silk
was
shirts and
dressed.
fur
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Exactly. I
First
should
Straight
have
from
known.
I was
Mongolia.
sharp.
Yeah.
Like Carrie Sharp.
My
Yeah.
Mongolian
He
fur.
Because that's
When we
who,
came
that's
out
who
the
my buddy
house,
was. You know,
we were dressed.
that was my brother, but that was my friend.
And then he lived there
We
too
shopped
for a
together.
minute.
Right.
So
and he
yeah.
came out, he was sharp.
We shopped
Everybody
together,
was
so
sharp.
everything he got, I got. Everything I got, he got. Basically.
And then but people didn't know that was just our family that was in us.
Yeah.
The Jacksons liked to dress. The Washingtons liked to dress. So it was just in us. My
Yeah.
mom and them, it was in us to do. So it's nothing new. It was just something to do. Yeah, we met in Kojic. Them was all some sharp dressing people.
Everybody dressed up.
Everybody.
I just
So
went there today. It was still buttoned up.
Yeah, so that's what I'm
Deborah
just-
won best dressed today for sure.
yeah, so
What kind of hat does she have on? Because it's the hat for them old
Oh,
churches.
it's her
Yeah.
hair.
Oh, it's purple still?
Huh?
It's purple
No,
still?
it was like this blondish silver.
Oh, she
It
clapping.
was sweet. It was.
yeah, so I'm
That's
just
what
saying
crazy.
this is stuff that people
went over
didn't
there too?
realize.
No, I went to my dad's church.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, so that's just was in us. You
So
know.
I'll say like this: the only reason that anybody loses, fails at something, or gets set back is because of what they know.
Or don't know from that point, huh?
Really, it's what they don't know.
Yeah. So then if it was
If you
anything
don't
we
know,
could
if you
pass
don't
on-
know enough to get you to the next level, you can't go
You
to the
can't
next
go.
level. It's like school. If you don't know certain things, timetables by third grade, then you can't go to the fourth grade. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's how life is.
Physically and spiritually.
And the
Yeah.
thing is with life, you're gonna catch hell in life because life is life. You're gonna catch it at the beginning of your life, middle of your life, or the end of your life.
You're gonna catch it.
But you're gonna catch it sooner or later. Sooner or later, one day you're gonna catch hell for you. For hell for you might not be hell for me, but hell for me might not be hell for you. But you're gonna catch your series, your level of hell.
Because I
And
think
so you
too,
just
you
have to-
gotta make sure, get ready when it's your time to move from that level, to be willing to say, hey, I gotta leave this level. You know, these people, You know, I know you may feel bad that I'm leaving, but you got to do it for yourself.
So what held you back from being able to ascend to that next level? Like was I know y'all mentioned
Well, my
Not
environment.
moving- Yep, the environment.
My
What's
environment.
The environment.
educational
What
or
you didn't
like
know.
slowing down.
What I didn't know, lack
What
of
you
knowledge.
didn't- Yep, the lack of
Like
knowledge.
the Bible says, it says, "My people perish for a lack of knowledge."
Yes.
You gonna perish in life because of what you don't know, a lack of what you don't know, not
Right.
what you can't learn, but what you don't know.
Don't know.
Because if you
Reach
don't
out.
know that you need to go link up with somebody doing what you're
Thank
doing
you.
and go
That's
be in
it.
them areas so that way you can still hang around your family and their words don't hurt because you're hanging around.
Right.
Let's say,
filling you up.
yeah, you hanging around people that doing the same thing as you. So like, when me and
Yeah.
you get together, we can have them talk. We got these spiritual talks and all that kind of stuff. And cool, you go have them conversations with other people. They not in it. Cool, it don't bother me because I get fulfilled from that or the information I need from there. And same thing with like stuff like love, information, stuff like that. If you getting it from a source, it don't matter if you go back to your old thing and they talking crazy. If you're really getting it and you like, okay, y'all are here because y'all family. Y'all are not here because y'all are making decisions for me or because y'all are on my team of life. Y'all are here because y'all are family. These are the people that I listen to for this kind of stuff because where I'm going is where they are, and where I'm going is where they've been. You know,
And
so
you
it's-
you do have to be strong. You got to be strong when it comes to certain people because when I'm gonna tell you just my experiences is when we were moving, you know, even excelling, even spiritually and stuff, and you're around different people like with your family, certain people whom you respect, who you feel like you really was respect, and they say something that is, you know, make you feel like, dang, you said this, and it knocks you because it's something that you never expect people to say, and it does knock you, and then you'll find yourself. I found myself kind of backing down a little bit from the place where I knew I should have been to keep that over here, you know, to keep this relationship because you want to still keep that solid because that's something that you always knew. And you still, yeah, and still you weren't up where the other people were that, you know, had more knowledge. So you felt, well, I can go sit with them for a minute and I really can't sit with them. But see, that's when you have to be strong in mind and say, I can sit with them.
Right. Yeah.
I have to. Matter of fact, I have to sit with them so that I can move. Because if not, you'll find yourself lukewarm.
Not
And
doing
then,
what you need to do because you trying not to do what.
right.
they
And
think
then
you
when you decide to, stick and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And I think that's probably where, like, your dad and I, that's where we really became more best friends. When he said, we got to learn how to do our own Thanksgivings. We have to learn how to do this because, I couldn't be with my family all the time. It's good. It was nice, but every holiday and stuff. So when you learn how to do that and make it on your own, it's hard to the family
Yeah.
who you're dealing with. It's hard to your children, hard to the outer.
One thing you have to remember too, that when you're younger, you're more impressionable,
Yes.
and people have a what they say can impact you.
Yeah.
It can change your direction. So your environment does help mold you into the shape that you into. Your troubles and your trials and tribulations develop you into who you could be. But you have to say, this is what I want to be, or this is not what I want to be.
Yeah.
And you have to be strong enough to say this is what I want, and it doesn't matter. But I it took years and years to get to the place where I could say, you know what, I don't really care about what you have to say because, and that's because I can basically say that I don't it doesn't matter now what you really have to say. Wow. What was I
Yeah.
gonna say? I kind of lost my train of thought.
Well, it don't matter now.
It doesn't matter, but it took
You have-
it took years.
it took
No, because no,
years.
what I was gonna say was because people. I'm gonna say like this: it's not so much of you, but it's it's the person that's talking. Don't know how to discipline their mouth to say what they really need to say. Because really, when it comes down to telling somebody something or talking to somebody, you have to talk to people with dignity and respect, just like you would want to be respected.
Right.
And you come at them correctly, because you have to be quick to hear, and slow to speak.
Yeah.
And you monitor, you watch your words. You watch your words. Watch what you say. Don't just don't say something thinking I'm grown, I can say what I want to say, or I'm this, I'm that, I'm a pastor, I can say what I want to say. That don't give you permission to say what you want to say. A pastorship or Christian or your relationship with God gives you or your understanding with God gives you the ability to say what's right. But you still need to learn how to say what's going to be helpful instead of harmful to people.
I want to throw this in there because really, I think the underlying thing of even that is really people need to work on their egos, because everybody's ego is so fragile that they'll say things or they'll perceive things in the wrong way, and the ego tries to defend itself. It tries to make you feel like if you don't or if you do, then you're gonna lose yourself in a sense. So the ego says, "I'm not," or "You're not worth it unless you go to work every day and you do this and this." No, you still worth it every day you wake up. You are still worth somebody fighting for you or loving you. And on the note of things like people gotta talk to you right, it's true. But they gotta check their ego, but you also gotta check yours. Because you should be able to tell me in any way, shape, or form, it's a fire. Or don't go that way, it's dangerous. Without me being like, well, what you doing trying to tell me what to do? And then how you saying it? Like sometimes everybody not gonna talk the same way. And that's cool. But the thing is the message. And our ego often distorts that message through its filter because it's trying to protect us from whatever we deem as a threat. So somebody yelling at you and saying, "What the F you doing? You shouldn't be jumping out there like that." They're trying to save your life. Like they're trying to save your life.
If they know that your life is in danger.
No, I'm saying like
Sometimes
in
they're
the case.
not aware. Because
Sometimes-
they're not living your life.
Yeah, they don't know.
Well, so I'm talking about. So let's say I'm gonna use my own personal stuff for example. Like if everybody telling me to get a job, it shouldn't matter how you tell me. Especially if you told me the first time, hey, you know what, Rob? I see that you are trying. Hey, you done tried long enough. You know, it's probably time to go get a job. Somebody gonna get offended because you told them that. They're gonna be like, "What you mean?" No matter how you say it. So you have to work on your own ego and the filter
how to
of your
receive.
ego on
You
how to
gotta
receive
receive it.
what the message is. Because you telling me go get a job, you telling me, yo, respect yourself. Get yourself stable. It don't matter if you tell me, hey, bro, you a bum and this business not working, or if you tell me, hey, I think you should go. Either way, it could be taken wrong. So it's important to just know, okay, look, what's the underlying message? Hey, I care about you enough to tell you that I don't think financially you are strong enough to take care of yourself and what you got on the way. So it's just awkward for me to tell you this. Or maybe I do want to tell you this, or maybe I don't want to tell you this. So I just got to say the words in the tone that I've been trying to ponder over how to do it. And so now here it is. And it came out raw, authentic. This is what it was. Hey, I think you a bum. Or, hey, I think you try hard. But whatever it may be. Like, and that's why I say I think it's the ego thing. Because, like, the truth be in stuff.
Then you have to remember too, what you might call an ego may not be an ego.
Well, anytime you
See,
identify
so
with
in
person,
other words, if somebody says something to me, you might say, well, "That's just your ego." But that might not be my ego. That might just be. Maybe you did say something that was off. That was crazy.
but check this though. The ego is the filter that allows the emotions to press through.
So now what you saying? Then everybody should be humble to the place where they be able to just take anything or just say anything to anybody.
No. What I'm saying is people should be able to hear the underlying message and take the underlying message. So if I tell you, hey, I'm gonna fuck you up, right? If I say that, the underlying message is, hey, you are in danger. And now your response should be, oh yeah, I'm gonna fuck you up. Like, or either to walk away, whichever your thing is, whichever you decided you want your outcome to be of it. But if I say, hey, you need gas in the car, or I say, nigga, put gas in the car, we about to run out of gas. Your ego is the reason why you like, I don't need no gas. And it may be because you may be low on money today, you was low on time today, yesterday you didn't feel like stopping, you didn't get enough sleep, and for whatever reason you respond crazy like, nigga, I know I need gas in my car, right? Now that person may take that the wrong way, but like, you're not really saying nothing bad. And they wasn't saying nothing bad either. It's kind of like, hear everything as if it's your friend talking to you. Because your friend could say some, translate it.
I feel like
translate it.
a good example of this would be like, for something that we participated in was when I told you I was having a home birth.
Mm-hmm.
And that was scary for y'all,
Yes.
but it was something that we knew that we wanted to do, and we were gonna stand firm on that's what we want to do. We heard y'all, we knew that it was out of love, and we didn't go. It wasn't an argument, yelling at each other. I know that I was like, let me just slow to speak, like he said, because I know that this is coming from love, and you wanting to see me be healthy and
Right.
protected through my
Exactly.
birth. But I knew that God told me to have the babies at home.
Yeah.
And that was something that sometimes you can't even give all the information. You just can say, here's what I'm going to do. And that's what it is.
And I believe that because it's like, if God tells me something, well, I'm going to tell you like, well, a perfect example, just like that, I wanted it, and I prayed, I was praying with y'all. I was like, when I was praying, I was saying, Lord, give him the wisdom. I said, help him, Lord. And thank God he was there and it helped y'all. But, it did calm me. And then just like the Lord had told me about Jubilee, he said that he told me to tell her she was going to find her husband's going to find her, was going to be quick and fast. Everything was going to happen fast. I personally, even though he told me to tell her that, I really couldn't really accept how it happened. I was so stunned with it because of what I wanted for her in my mind. I wanted her to have it like this because I felt, well, Jubilee, you never were celebrated.
And that's the ego. But
Yeah,
that's ego. Anytime it's a personal desire and something,
Yeah.
and it gets offended or it gets excited, even, it's ego. Like it's ego,
Yeah.
and it's cool because everybody you should have ego. Ego is a great part of itself, but it's important to just identify. Okay, hey, they telling me I'm like in middle school. They're telling me, oh, you're gonna go to the NBA, and I was getting excited and filling myself up with hot air, thinking that the workouts that I was doing was enough. Knowing that other people had coaches and access to other facilities that'll take them to where they really need to go, and they were in the games that matter. So it's you can't let your ego go either way on it. You just gotta be neutral.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people find out as they get older, and they may not put it into words, but when they stop caring about like my brother, he's probably one of the best people I know when it comes down to like not letting ego take over. We had several times where it's like. And don't get me wrong, on the court it'll definitely take over. But I mean, in like normal human interactions, he usually pretty good at filtering out. Okay, bet this is what this person is saying, this is what that person is saying. But ego also, if you got a big ego like myself, then you also end up impulsive and you yell out stuff. You make instant responses. But people like you, my brother, you can sit there for a second and say, okay, well, that's how you feel. And you may feel the same level of frustration or excitement, but y'all are able to,
Contain self-control. With self-control,
yeah. But
I
that's-
think self-control and discipline
Mastery of the ego.
is really.
it's mastery of the ego.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
Well,
self-control.
you know the book of James tells you that a man that can control his tongue is a master.
But what they should have said was they should have said a man that controls his ego, because the only reason that tongue get to flopping is because the mind and the emotions changed. So if they tell you to control that ego, that filter that's letting everything through, that tongue got to get in line. Like everything, like when you eliminate the ego from it, like when I had no ego, that's when I was walking 2 and 3 miles to go knock on doors and say, hey, I'll take your photos and all that kind of stuff. And eventually it landed me to be able to work at that one little car dealership, which eventually landed me to be able to get into a little spot, which eventually led to more things. But then as I started getting things or moving forward, that ego started growing, because it was like, oh, you don't have nothing? Okay, bet. All right, I'm going to go get this now. Now I got this. Oh, that's all you got? Okay, bet. Now I got to go get this. And let my ego grow back more than what I let my humility or my actual self, should I say, grow.
Well, ego and pride is the same thing, then, basically.
A little different, because ego usually is never good.
Pride is never good either.
Because pride is pride in what you do. Ego is egotistical, so it may come from nothing. It's just because you said I couldn't do it, ego says I can't do it. Or ego will say, I'm about to go prove you wrong, knowing good and well you can't do it. Ego is the thing that'll have you thinking that you could jump in that water to say that person is drowning, even though you can't swim. Pride may have you wanting to jump in there, like, oh man, like this person needs help. But pride hits you with some reality, some facts, and it says, "Nigga, you can't swim. Your phone is in your pocket." It pride hits you with some other stuff. The ego just say, "I need the attention right now. I need it right now. I need to be number one or either invisible." It go either way. You know, it can take you up, it can take you down, but it's gotta be controlled, like we saying.
Yeah, I think anything has to be controlled.
Yeah.
Everything has to be controlled. You know that's one of the fruits, or the fruit is self-control. If a person can't control himself, or he can't discipline himself, he like I used to always tell y'all. I said your what did I say about you?
Your discipline will keep you where
your money can.
where your money can.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
you
some
know,
laws
what
a little
you are,
different
it was
Discipline
different.
discipline. In other words, discipline will outride money.
Yeah, because see,
Discipline
you could be.
people can see your, and that's why I say discipline. Discipline lines up with humility, and pride lines up with ego.
Yeah. I could agree. Pride more so lines up with ego than discipline.
Sure. Mhm.
Yeah.
Because you can not have money and go look at a house and have favor
You know what?
and discipline. If you got discipline where people see it, they will respect you and favor you
and give you a
on
chance,
that.
because I'm gonna tell you,
More
we
so
know
than
that.
more so you having money. The guy told me one time when I was wanting to buy the '69 Jaguar. He told me, he said, "Look," he said, "I'm gonna take." Another guy had came to buy the car first. He said, "Look," he said, "this guy came." He said, "But this check wasn't no good." He said, "But look, this is what I'm." He took the check and he tore it up right in front of me. He said, "I want to give you a chance to get this car, and I'm a black guy. And he's a white guy." He said, I want you." He said, "I want you to have it." But I had a lot of discipline. I had just got out the service, and he'd seen some things people see. They see hunger. They see hunger. They see thirstiness. That's why people say nowadays they're saying, "You thirsty, you thirsty." But they can see that, and they can see your humility, and they can see your pride, your arrogance.
Because that's how we got majority of all our homes.
Yeah,
off of
people
something
liked
we
it.
said, we
They
wrote,
liked
or
something that
whatever.
they liked something that we
It was
did.
something they said I was looking for that, and what we, what we were, and even when we left 1680 with Jim, he said, "You guys were the best tenants I ever had. You guys did it so well because we kept the home up nice. We kept the yard. We kept all of that kind of stuff. It means something to me. If I'm gonna, I don't care if I don't own it or wherever we have been, I always tried to make it a home and make it look nice for everyone. I got on your children, y'all, for rooms because I said you gotta have this, and but you guys you're doing good now. You with that type of stuff. So it was a reason for those things. I always felt like, okay, so you rent. So what? You live here. That don't mean because you're renting someplace, it doesn't mean you don't clean up, don't cut your grass, don't do this. Treat it like you want to be here.
So is it safe to say that the legacy that is being passed down could be the 7 Jacks principles of discipline?
I don't
Or
know.
we should probably
That
figure
could
out what
be.
the 7
That could be.
what the 7 Jacks are.
7 Jacks.
Because
Yeah.
like that might be a good
That's a good
contribution
thing.
to pass down. Is everybody provide at least one
Yeah.
one statement to live by. Don't double up on nobody's stuff,
Right.
but like pick something that's personally showing you like, okay, if you gonna make it in life, you gonna need this. No matter what it is that you want to do, you want to make content, you want to be a lawyer, doctor, or if you just want to but you gonna need this.
You need to do this.
And this is what your grandfather said. This is what your grandmother said. Okay, this is what your aunt said. This is what your other aunt said. This is what your uncle said. This is what your uncle said,
Yeah.
or your dad in this case for these two. But like just going
Right.
all the way down the line. Everybody
I
saying,
think
look,
that's a good thing to make up the 7 Jack principles.
I think
That would be
I think
nice.
one thing. I think one thing. Everybody in this family is disciplined in something.
Yes.
Should be disciplined in something.
Well, that's one of the things that you passed down.
Yeah.
They was
Yeah.
disciplined, that we was disciplined
It's
in
something every
If
one
I
of
say,
us
if I
and
could
everyone
ask,
know.
what is it that you discipline? What you're disciplined in is what you're going to see the success in you. What your discipline, your biggest disciplinary thing is where you're going to see the biggest success in you.
and your least disciplined area is definitely the area that you are the least
Yeah,
free
the
in,
weak
or the one that you are the most a slave in, because people
Because
equate
discipline is freedom.
discipline
Right.
is freedom.
Yeah.
Like
Yes,
you
it
gotta
is.
choose what
Yeah.
you're gonna slave for.
Yep.
Right.
That's the thing with slavery, because you gotta slave for something.
Yeah, if you got a physical presence, yeah, you gonna slave for something. Yeah,
Just the thing is, it's a beautiful thing to be able to choose what you're gonna slave for.
because that's where slavery is broken, is when it's your choice. In my in a quick opinion, I guess I'll say.
Yeah.
In a quick opinion, if you get to choose how you gonna slave, I don't think nobody is gonna pick to get whipped and beat.
Exactly.
I think everybody gonna pick something a little nicer.
You gotta do this every day. All right,
Yeah.
All right, cool.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Because that's what we do it anyway. Whether you're an actor, a hooper, a doctor,
Yeah.
or a trash man, like
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the main things. Just people that's aware that you have to choose what your discipline is.
big facts. Now I'm trying to keep eye on the time too, because I know it's gonna try to cut off at some point. So I'm gonna wrap this up. But I want, before we wrap it up, everybody leave with a nice little closing statement of around 30 seconds, because looking at the time, it probably is gonna cut off in about 4 minutes. So we're gonna start left to right, end it off with Pops. Hopefully you come through with a banger. But sit up a little bit though, so that way if you say something good, yeah, we can add video to it.
All right, so my closing would be my Jack, Selly. One thing that you can for sure do to be able to at least obtain the success or peace in your life is strive for success. Do the things that it takes to be able to achieve your goal. Enjoy life. Make the most of your time. love what you do, put passion in things that you do, and be committed to yourself. That's my jacket.
That's lit. Strive for success. Enjoy what you do.
Oh,
Or,
that's
and,
what we're
and
giving? I wanted to say something else.
No. I just gave my jacket.
Okay.
It's a good way to just make it simple for y'all closing statements.
bet. Run that one more time. What it was.
So my jacket is Selly. Strive for success, enjoy life, love what you do, and be yourself. Striving for success is about doing what it takes to be able to achieve success. If you want to be a doctor, most people have to learn medicine in some way, shape, or form. That's what it takes. But you got to put your all into it. Enjoy life. Make the most of your time. Like, that's how you really enjoy your life. It's not about partying. Love what you do. Be able to put passion in the things that you do. And be yourself. Be committed to, or be able to be committed to yourself.
Bet. Lele?
I'm not ready to give my jack, but I will say that I really appreciate us coming together and communicating with each other about what we want to do as a family. I love that, and I'm glad to be a part.
We love you too.
Love you.
I'm gonna say the same thing. Like, it's dope to come together and talk about these things, and know that like everybody's opinion is heard, whether it's all the way accepted or not. It's just good to be able to talk to people with like-mindedness and be able to walk that path and kind of break down what perspectives work, what perspectives don't work, and then seeing how everybody can improve. So I thought that was pretty dope myself. Mm-hmm. The baby sleeps, so he can't say nothing.
Did she just? Okay, well, mine is what I feel. This is how I always feel in my heart. Always remember forgiveness. Forgive people for everything, because if someone says something to disturb a part of your being, the next minute it's over with, because there's free forgiveness. Not only does it help the person, but it really helps you, because unforgiveness kills the inside of you. It makes you die on the inside. But I say forgiveness, and always believe in yourself. Believe in what you can do, and love. I'm a mother, so I guess that's why I always say that. I believe, love, forgive, and believe in yourself. You can do whatever you want. Amen.
Well, I'll say this, and mine is that you remain disciplined and focused, and because this right here, you're disciplined to take you where your money can't keep you. So remain focused, and remain disciplined. Remain diligent and persistent in the things that you need and the things that you want. And you shall definitely obtain it.
Well, you done heard it from everybody. This has been the Family Podcast at the Jackson's house. It went down today. I want you to comment in there what you liked about it today, what we should have talked about a little bit more, or what you think we were right or wrong about, so that way we can get some discussion going, so the next video is even better, and we bring you more value that you can apply right away into your life and start seeing changes. Because everybody else on the internet just giving you stuff, but they're not giving you nothing that you can apply and change. So change your life with. So this time we're going to actually give you the things that's behind the scenes that actually make the difference. Because we got 3 generations sitting here right now, and there's no reason why the generation after me should fail, and there's no reason why I should struggle as much as I struggle if we all are using each other accordingly. Yo, we a family, dog. Catch you next time. You're supposed to sit still for a second. You're supposed to, but you already got up, so it's all right.
The going back is
The bloopers, I'm telling you, make it great.